how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering the Bud Light controversy. Well, coming from the Daily Mail, former Anheuser-Busch executive, and this guy was a sales and distribution president for Anheuser-Busch, not just Bud Light, but the whole Anheuser-Busch company. He knows what he's talking about. He's warning Bud Light sales figures will get worse and worse until the brand makes a comment about what customers they're going to serve amid the Dylan Mulvaney backlash. This is a really interesting interview. He explains what's going on. He explains what he thinks they can do to fix it. To be honest, I don't even think they could fix it if they did what he said to do, but it's fascinating to hear what he has to say. This is coming from the Daily Mail. Let's get into the article. Before we do, please be sure you subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications and give me a thumbs up. Really appreciate you guys. A former Anheuser-Busch executive has warned that Bud Light sales will get worse and worse after the partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. America's flagship beer brand has been in damage control since Mulvaney shared a series of promotional posts with 11 million social media followers on April 1st. Bud Light sales fell for the fifth consecutive week, and it's gotten worse in this fifth week than it was in the fourth and the third weeks, as people continue to boycott it following the controversial collaboration with Mulvaney, and they were down by nearly 24% in the week ending May 6th. Should be interesting to see what the week ending May 13th was, and we'll find that out next week. Anson Frericks, the former president of Anheuser-Busch's sales and distribution, believes the brewer's sales will continue to sink until it comes out and emphasizes which customers they're going to serve. And keep in mind, he's not the first executive who worked with Bud Light and helped to build their business that's come out against this Dylan Mulvaney promotion. Robert Lackey, who helped Budweiser become America's most popular beer, said it took 20 years to build Bud Light's brand, and now it's been destroyed. It was also like a life's work for this guy. He's left the company, has his own consulting company now, but this is a big part of his resume that's now destroyed. Quote, consumers feel like they're having an impact, and every single week these sales numbers keep getting reported. And they're getting worse and worse every single week, Frericks told Fox Business. And the thing about these sales figures is it can't get stopped. It's not coming from the Bud Light company. It's coming from beer industry analysts that get the information from liquor stores and convenience stores and supermarkets that report everything based on UPC codes that get scanned at the point of sale. So it's really impossible for Bud Light as a company to stop these numbers from coming out. Quote, so I see this continuing to drag on until Bud Light makes a comment about what they stand for and what customers they're going to serve. With Bud Light, that was never part of the brand or part of the message. And I think that's what upsets so many people here. And I think that's why this boycott is going to go on a lot longer than people give it credit for. For the week ending May 6th, in-store sales of Bud Light across the U.S. were down 23.6% compared to the year before. And that's nationally, and that's on an average basis. What that means is, in some places, the sales weren't down nearly as much, and it's not a big interruption. Maybe it was down 5%, 7% in some markets, for whatever reason. But in other markets, to make that average happen, they would have been down much, much larger numbers, 40%, 60%, 80%. I've done videos of specific restaurants and places that have said sales dropped 50%, 80%, 90%. That completely disrupts their distribution. It's an incredible, expensive mess that really can't easily get fixed. Bud Light's marketing vice president, Alyssa Heinerschied, and Daniel Blake, Anheuser-Busch's vice president for mainstream brands, took a leave of absence following the controversial partnership with Dylan Mulvaney. The company tried to explain to the public that a third-party agency was responsible for the collaboration with the can, and that they'd never planned to sell Dylan Mulvaney's can to the public. Bud Light released a new country music-inspired advertisement, which aired during the NFL draft on April 27th and also on YouTube, and it's reportedly set to launch a collection of camouflage aluminum bottles to promote a veterans nonprofit organization called Folds of Honor. The charity provides scholarships to the children of fallen and disabled service members and its first responders. That video was released on YouTube. They also turned off the comments because they were afraid of the backlash they were going to get from people on YouTube. While there were no comments because they were turned off, they had massive, massive dislikes on it. But the executive, Frericks, doesn't see the company's attempts to claw sales back working, and said one thing that they haven't done is say that they made a mistake with this campaign and been clear about who they're going to serve moving forward. The CEO of Anheuser-Busch actually said the opposite. He said the reason for the problem is misinformation and disinformation from the public on social media, as if it was their fault. It's always the company's responsibility to establish what their brand is about and to communicate with their customers. They shouldn't be letting consumers define what the brand is all about if they're spending millions of dollars on advertising. So who are they going to serve? Is it going to be their shareholders and their customers who just want them to create a Bud Light that's apolitical? Or are they going to be serving their stakeholders? These are the people that want BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, who are asking them to serve political organizations, activists. I think until they're clear and they make it clear that they want to serve their customers moving forward, unfortunately, I don't see this going away. Bump Williams of Bump Williams Consultancy told Daily Mail, I don't think the declines in sales and volume will get any worse, but I do think that their negative volume trends will continue. He said that sales dipping by 20% seems to be the new normal for Bud Light. But he added that experts are waiting to see what will happen to sales over Memorial Day and summer selling season to assess if the damage will continue. Williams, who specializes in the alcohol industry, told the St. Louis Business Journal, this seems to be where the brand's weekly declines have started to settle, falling in that approximately 20% range over the past week. Quote, I wonder if this is going to be the floor for expected Bud Light declines moving forward unless something drastic changes. Bud Light is seemingly facing outrage and potential boycotts from all sides of the political spectrum, though, largely centered around conservatives. Bud Light recently lost their LGBT rating, and now it's right before Pride Month, so they're in trouble with everyone who could possibly even consider buying their beer. I don't think they're going to be bouncing back anytime soon. Let me know what you think in the comments below. The partnership with Mulvaney drew intense backlash from some quarters, with musician Kid Rock posting a video of himself shooting at cases of Bud Light and country singers John Rich and Travis Tritt dropping ties with the brand. But media personalities such as Joe Rogan and Howard Stern defended Bud Light's decision. Anheuser-Busch reported first quarter earnings of $1.65 billion, which topped Wall Street's expectations. The earnings were good in their first quarter, but the earnings that were reported didn't reflect sales from April 1st on. And that's what was affected by Dylan Mulvaney's crazy promotion. Ted Cruz is also demanding a probe into Bud Light because of these concerns, which actually are very legitimate. A lot of Dylan Mulvaney's followers are underage. They should not be getting promotions for alcohol. It's absolutely correct. So what Ted Cruz is saying is, look, not only did you do this promotion with Dylan Mulvaney, but you have Alyssa Heinerschied, who's now on leave, the marketing executive, saying in an interview in a video, we need to find new young drinkers for Bud Light or we're not going to be able to continue with the brand. So she's got marketing going on with Dylan Mulvaney, who is targeting underage people. That's certainly enough for someone to look into that, to say, excuse me, what exactly were you doing here? As if they didn't have enough problems at Bud Light. This came out today as well. A Bud Light distributor is issuing a public plea to consider buying Bud Light again. What he explains is he's an independent distributor. He's got 100 employees, essentially saying, hey, it's not my fault. I don't want to go out of business here. It was just one can. It was never a national promotion. And the problem is this is unfortunately what happens when you trust big companies. You never know what they're going to do, and you're tied at the hip with them. So if they do something crazy like Bud Light did, and they don't handle the firestorm the way that the Bud Light people never came out and made any clear comments. As this sales and distributing executive is saying, they never came out and said, look, we're sorry, we made a mistake, this wasn't what we had planned to do. They still haven't taken responsibility for it. All they've done is made fake apologies, and the CEO of the international company for Bud Light said, oh, this is all about misinformation and disinformation. It's not our fault, it's the fault of the public. Well, that's why this distributor is in big trouble, because this brand is not coming back. I don't see how they're going to make money. I think it's a terrible investment to be in business with the Bud Light people or any of these other woke companies. It's very prevalent. It's all over the place now, but you really got to stay away from it, whether you're an investor or someone you're going to do business with them somehow. I don't trust them. I wouldn't work with them. Got to be very careful about who you work with, because you never know when they're going to turn around and do this. And how does anybody even know if you have any other brands from Anheuser-Busch, the next mistake they're going to make, if they can't even fix this one and they don't know what they did wrong? Let me know what you think in the comments below, do you agree that basically everybody hates Bud Light now? There doesn't seem to be a way to turn this around. Do you think there's any chance that during Memorial Day weekend, people are going to all of a sudden start wanting to drink Bud Light? People don't even seem to want it, and you've seen these discounts where they're giving away the beer basically for free. You get a $20 rebate when you buy a $20 pack of Bud Light, but people are still not drinking it. But I definitely want to know what you have to say in the comments below. Please be sure you do leave those comments, and also please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.